In 2026, girl, there's been a loud, non-stop conversation about women's appearances, especially within the black community, and it feels like everybody suddenly has an opinion.
Our society hate the way God made them. They think they too dark, they bleach their skin. Get plastic bags all stuffed in your hips. Plastic bags, old inner tubes, empty recycled box cartons, saving cereal boxes to get them shoved in their hips.
That's right.
And then when you walk, your whole hips is creaking, making crunchy noises.
Now in this situation, you got a Christian pastor breaking down what he sees as the average black woman out in the community, including things like skin lightening. In that specific sermon, he called out women walking around in pajamas and bonnets. Girl, those aren't supposed to be church standards. Because let's be clear, he wasn't talking about women of God. And the reason he separates women of God from everyone else is because technically, women who claim faith are expected to move differently than the everyday woman. But here's the uncomfortable truth. He's pointing at average women because those same behaviors are popping up right inside his own congregation. And honestly, he's not wrong. Which brings us straight to the one and only Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant. On December 20th, 2025, Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant and his wife, Dr. Carrie Turner Bryant, made headlines when she wore a controversial gown to the 2025 United Negro College Fund Atlanta Mayor's Masked Ball. Now listen, that dress had people talking because it appeared to reveal a lot of skin. And you have to understand the context. Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant isn't just clergy, because Dr. Carrie Turner Bryant also serves as co-pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. So yes, she's in the ministry too. And for a lot of folks, that made the outfit feel completely out of alignment with someone holding a leadership role in the church. From December 20th through December 31st, the internet was dragging her appearance non-stop. Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant finally responded to the backlash publicly during a New Year's Eve service on December 31st, 2025.
I needed to deal with it head on because the other day the internet went crazy about a dress my wife had on. Now, they didn't say anything about the $4 million that was raised for the United Negro College Fund. They never mentioned that she prayed until heaven came down. They never said anything about this was the largest fundraiser for for HBCUs in the country. But insecure, jealous, petty, small-minded people got in their feelings and set up a false barometer of holiness based off of a dress. Now you got to help some people because some people have embraced the full knowledge of ignorance without any assistance for understanding. The dress was not see-through. The dress was flesh color. But because you ain't never been nowhere and ain't never been exposed to nothing.
So wait a second. Now, suddenly, it's everybody else's fault. What he's really saying is that this whole situation is a you problem, not theirs. If you didn't like the dress or you're locked in on the dress, then according to him, that's insecurity showing. You're not talking about the massive amount of money that was raised at the fundraiser. You're not mentioning the prayers she participated in either. You're definitely not highlighting that this was the largest fundraiser for the United Negro College Fund this year. Instead, you're focused on everything except that. And in his words, that makes you insecure and petty. Whew. But girl, you won't believe what comes next.
Set the record straight. Y'all don't like this. I need to set the record straight. I bought the dress. And I like it.
So here's the part that made me pause. He openly admitted that he bought the dress. And if you rewind and really pay attention to the crowd cheering him on, it becomes pretty clear that Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant, Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant, leads a congregation that's largely dominated by women. Now let's just assume for a moment that Jamal Harrison Bryant is right. If this had truly been a one-time situation, his wife's fashion choice, one moment of criticism, then in my honest opinion, his argument would land a lot stronger. He'd be standing on something that was temporary, a one-off, not a pattern tied to his behavior. And honestly, he'd be well within his rights to say, look, give me some grace. It happened once. It's not like this is something we do all the time. But here's the problem. This is the part Jamal Harrison Bryant simply cannot defend.
Or say, I am divorced because I cheated. I divorced because of my infidelity, not because of irreconcilable differences, but because I broke that covenant. And so I had to go through a healing process for myself on what is it that was in me that would go outside of the bounds of my covenant, my agreement, and to risk my family for somebody I never wanted to be with. Yeah. So I say to men all the time, one of the mistakes I made is my first attempt at monogamy was marriage.
So let's not skip over this part. Not only did you cheat on your first wife, Giselle Bryant, but you also got someone pregnant inside your own church. Yes, this happened at Empowerment Temple AME Church in Baltimore, Maryland. He served as pastor there for about 18 years, and during that time, he impregnated a member while holding the role of church pastor. After the divorce, Jamal Harrison Bryant went on to father at least one more child outside of the ministry and chose not to address it publicly. Let that sink in. So when we talk about a pattern, we're talking about repeated infidelity and sleeping with women. I've personally heard multiple accounts from people who say they've seen him out with different women. I even know someone in this industry whose wife was best friends with the woman Jamal Harrison Bryant was involved with. So the real issue is this. While he's trying to frame the dress controversy as a one-time situation, this behavior lines up with a pattern we've seen from him for at least the past 2 decades.
Damn! Attention, but I noticed the woman was paying attention to me. I was like, maybe she a fan. So I just walked past her. You know, if they say something, I don't be like, hi, I'm Tasha K. And I walked past her and she was following me as I walked, and Jamal walked up, Jamal Bryant, this was Pastor Jamal Bryant, and he has since confirmed that he was in Fort Lauderdale because he unblocked me after he blocked me right after I posted on Twitter where I had seen him in the hole at the Dr. BBL hole, okay? As we walked, they was holding hands, and so you don't hold hands with friends. This was late at night. This is your woman. And I have several sources that have confirmed with exclusive information.
Let me give you the full context here. Tasha K lives in Atlanta, and at the same time, Jamal Harrison Bryant was also in Atlanta. She was out in a very exclusive area when she noticed someone staring at her, but she had no idea who it was at first. She initially thought, oh, this is probably just someone who watches my channel. Come to find out, that person was Kari Turner Bryant. Then it clicked. She realized Kari Turner Bryant was there with Jamal Harrison Bryant, and they were holding hands. Now pause for a second, because this is happening late at night. And remember, Jamal Harrison Bryant was actively serving as a pastor at this time. But girl, you already know there's more.
Sources that have confirmed with exclusive information that not only this is your woman, she has been your woman since 2017.
Woo, she just confirmed it. Listen, this woman with the BBL has been connected to Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant since at least 2017. He later elevated her to co-pastor and then officially married her. So let's not play confused here, Doc. That relationship was active years before a ring ever showed up. What? Now, let's circle back to this whole conversation about her being a pastor with a BBL. Again, there's no rule or law saying a pastor can't get cosmetic work done. But here's the point people keep missing. Most folks get a BBL to enhance outward appearance. And when you enhance your body like that, the goal is usually attention. If you're a model or an entertainer, sure, that tracks. But if you're in ministry, the spotlight is supposed to be on God. That's exactly why pastors historically wore robes. Choir members did the same. So when the pastor preached or the choir sang, the focus stayed on humility, uniformity, order, and keeping the attention on the word or the message being delivered through song or sermon. What people see now is that when a pastor like Dr. Carrie Turner Bryant gets a BBL and steps out in a tight, nearly see-through dress, it doesn't read as someone trying to represent God. It doesn't shift attention upward. It redirects attention back to the self while using God as the stage for that attention. And that's where the disconnect is, because faith spaces are meant to emphasize the spiritual, not the physical. Instead, the spiritual platform gets used to spotlight physical appearance, and that's the core issue people are reacting to. Maybe it's hard to articulate cleanly, but trust me, even people who aren't Christian or don't attend church can see exactly what's happening.
This girl is put before the congregation, and she preaches with a BBL.
Now listen, this is your boy Horry Holcomb laying it down. But girl, it gets even worse.
The word. I'm not nobody who knows the Bible back and forth, but I know enough about the Bible to know that this is all foul behavior if you're preaching the Bible to people.
He said, listen, someone doing this has no business teaching the word of God. There's just no place for it. And of course, he didn't stop there. He doubled down with even more reasoning.
Now, you got a girl with a BBL speaking before the congregation. That's one thing. I've talked about this before. Then you have an interview with Cam Newton and you can't hold yourself. You say, you got some pretty legs. And next week, you speaking at a church where there are men, not one, not two, men walking around the church in high heels. Let me tell you something. If you at a church and there is a man in there with high heels, you might as well have gangbangers throwing up Crip signs, blood signs, and every other sign as the choir sing.
God's logic is sharp, and he's making a point that's really hard to ignore. First off, he says, one isolated incident? Sure, and that's forgivable. He referenced the Cam Newton interview where he called Cam's legs sexy or nice, and girl, that's completely inappropriate for a pastor to say publicly. He also brought up situations with gay pastors and other incidents that go against what the Bible actually preaches. So naturally, Jamal Harrison Bryant wants to spin this as if everyone else is insecure, talking about the money raised or the prayers said, but nobody is focused on that. What people are actually doing is connecting the dress and his behavior to a long history of questionable actions. And here's the kicker, there's zero accountability. He wants everyone to believe this is a one-off, when in reality, it's part of a pattern. People are essentially pointing out a mental or spiritual gap that you, as a middle-aged man in a leadership role, clearly haven't bridged yet. And this is a classic problem in the black church. Folks have every excuse to do whatever they want within the very religion they claim to uphold, and when they fail to meet that standard, there's always an excuse. If you want to understand why so many black men, or just people in general, feel disillusioned with the church, look no further than Jamal Harrison Bryant. You'll see exactly why trust is eroded, not just in Christianity itself, but in black Christian institutions and black-led organizations more broadly. We're great at talking about what we're going to do. We're great at raising money. But execution, integrity, accountability, that's the hard part. And watching it unravel is painful. So, what do you think? It's your boy O.J. Dew Jackson back at it with another episode of Celebrity Junk, and I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Trade with the Bill.